What if everything falling apart in your life right now is actually falling into place? What if the pain, the confusion, the delays, and the silence you're facing are not punishments, but preparations for something divine? Few people realize this truth until it's too late. God often hides his biggest breakthroughs inside seasons that look like breakdowns. You've been asking for a sign that God hasn't forgotten you, but what if this very moment is that sign? Because the truth is, there are 7 major signs that God is secretly preparing you for a huge spiritual breakthrough, and once you see them, you'll never look at your life the same way again. The first sign is divine disconnection. Suddenly, people start walking out of your life. Friends who once understood you now seem distant. Relationships you thought were forever suddenly crumble, and you find yourself standing in the ruins of what you thought you needed. It feels cruel, doesn't it? But here's the secret few talk about. Before God elevates you, he isolates you. Abraham couldn't receive the promise until he left his family. Joseph couldn't fulfill his dream while still living with his brothers. Sometimes, the people you're crying over are the very ones God is removing to make room for what's next. So when doors start closing and people start fading, don't panic. Heaven might just be clearing your path. Romans 8 verse 28 says, "All things work together for good to those who love God." Not some things, all things, including heartbreak, disappointment, and rejection. The second sign is the unsettling silence of God. You pray, but nothing. You worship, but you feel nothing. You fast, but the heavens seem closed. It feels as though God has gone quiet. Yet here's what few people understand. Silence is not absence. It's strategy. Every teacher goes silent during the test, not because they've left the classroom, but because it's time for the student to prove what they've learned. When God hides his voice, it's because he's building your trust in his presence. This silence is his way of stretching your faith beyond feelings. Remember, Jesus was silent before the cross. Heaven said nothing while he hung there, and yet that silence birthed the greatest breakthrough in human history. If God seems quiet right now, it's not rejection, it's refinement. He's teaching you to hear his whisper in the storm. The third sign is divine delay. Everything you've been praying for seems to take longer than it should. You watch others get blessed, promoted, married, and elevated while you wait, and wonder if God has forgotten your address. But here's the truth. When it seems like nothing is happening, something powerful is being prepared behind the scenes. Delays in God's kingdom are never denials. They are setups for divine timing. Look at David, anointed as king but sent back to the field. Look at Sarah, promised a child but made to wait until her body said it was impossible. Sometimes, God delays your blessing until you're strong enough to handle it. Because what good is a throne if your character can't keep you seated on it? So if you're in a waiting season, don't curse it. God is maturing your faith, not punishing it. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 11 reminds us, he has made everything beautiful in its time. Not before, not after, it's time. The fourth sign is inner restlessness. You wake up feeling uncomfortable in environments that once satisfied you. Your spirit starts rejecting what your flesh still craves. The music, the company, the habits, none of it fills you anymore. It's as if something inside is shifting, urging you to rise higher. This is not anxiety, it's divine agitation. God is stirring your spirit, making you too uncomfortable to stay where you are. Because comfort zones are graveyards of growth. Remember Jonah? God allowed a storm to shake his boat, not to destroy him, but to redirect him. When God wants to move you, he'll make your current place unbearable. So if you've been feeling restless, don't fight it. The Holy Spirit might be saying, it's time to go deeper. The fifth sign is spiritual warfare. The moment you decide to get serious about your purpose, hell takes notice. Suddenly, attacks come from every direction. Your finances dry up, your peace is stolen, your relationships strain, and you start questioning everything you believed. But hear this clearly. Heavy warfare is often a sign of heavy destiny. The enemy doesn't waste his energy on people who aren't a threat. When you're close to breakthrough, opposition intensifies. Think about Jesus. Right before his resurrection came the cross. Before Joseph's promotion came betrayal and prison. Before Daniel's elevation came the lion's den. Your warfare is not proof that God has left you. It's proof that you're next in line for breakthrough. the closer you get to your promise, the harder the enemy fights to stop you from stepping into it. So don't run from the battle. Endure it, because victory always comes after resistance. The sixth sign is spiritual pruning. God begins to cut away the very things you thought you needed. He strips away opportunities, habits, and even blessings that no longer serve your future. It feels painful because pruning always does. But Jesus said in John 15, verse 2, "Every branch that bears fruit he prunes, that it may bear more fruit." That means if God is cutting something away, it's because you're about to grow. Sometimes growth doesn't look like expansion. It looks like subtraction. God will reduce you to refine you. He'll remove the counterfeit before revealing the genuine. And when he prunes your life, it's because he sees fruit you don't yet see. Don't fight his hand. Surrender to it, because pruning is preparation for abundance. The seventh sign is divine hunger. You start craving more of God and less of the world. The things that used to excite you no longer hold your attention. You find yourself yearning for his word, desiring his presence, seeking his voice more than applause. That hunger is not random. It's the Spirit awakening something deep inside you. It's the beginning of transformation. When God is about to elevate you, he creates an appetite for the divine. You start losing interest in distractions because your spirit knows something bigger is coming. Psalm 42, verse 1 captures it perfectly. "As the deer pants for the water, so my soul pants for you, O God." When you begin to hunger for more of him, it's a sign he's drawing you into your next level, because only those who hunger will be filled. Now, if you look closely, you'll realize these seven signs often overlap. You might be facing divine disconnection while enduring silence. You might be in delay while fighting spiritual warfare. That's not chaos. It's divine orchestration. God is aligning everything, even the pain, to push you toward purpose. The enemy wants you to believe you're losing, but in reality, you're being positioned. Every tear, every unanswered prayer, every sleepless night, it's all part of a bigger story that ends in victory. God's preparation often disguises itself as pressure, but diamonds are only formed under pressure. So let's break this down. When you start losing what you thought you needed, when God's voice feels distant, when time feels like your enemy, when you feel restless, attacked, pruned, and yet strangely hungry for his presence, that's not random. That's heaven signaling that a major shift is near. You're being stretched because your capacity is growing. You're being isolated because elevation requires intimacy. You're being delayed because destiny takes time. You're being attacked because you're dangerous to darkness. You're being pruned because you're being prepared for fruitfulness. And you're being filled with hunger because God is calling you closer than ever before. Don't let the enemy deceive you into thinking the season is meaningless. Some of your greatest growth will happen in hidden places. Think about David again. He was anointed in private before he was crowned in public. God often trains his warriors in silence. So while others are chasing recognition, God is shaping your character in secret. He's teaching you obedience, discipline, faith, and endurance, qualities that can be learned in comfort. Because when your breakthrough comes, you won't just be blessed, you'll be ready. If you're in this kind of season right now, you need to hear this. Do not give up. You are too close to what you've been praying for. The pressure you feel is not punishment. It's labor pain. Something divine is about to be birthed through you. When a woman is about to give birth, the pain intensifies right before delivery. Spiritually, it's the same. The moment you feel like you can't take any more is usually when God says, "Now." So hold on. Pray harder. Worship deeper. Trust stronger. Because your breakthrough is not coming. It's already unfolding. And remember this. Every time God prepares someone for greatness, he first takes them through a process that looks nothing like the promise. Joseph had dreams of leadership, but woke up in a prison. Moses was called to deliver Israel, but found himself tending sheep in the desert. Even Jesus spent 30 years in obscurity before 3 years of ministry. Preparation always looks like delay to those who don't understand destiny. But if you stay faithful in the unseen, God will reveal you in the right season. You might be wondering, why does it have to be this hard? Because destiny is costly. God is not interested in giving you a platform you can't sustain. He's not just blessing you. He's building you. You're learning patience through delay, discernment through silence, strength through warfare, humility through pruning, and devotion through hunger. Everything you're experiencing is shaping you into someone who can carry what's coming without collapsing under its weight. And here's a powerful truth. When you finally step into your breakthrough, you'll realize why it had to be this way. The tears will make sense. The loneliness will feel worth it. The silence will reveal wisdom. And the pain will turn into purpose. Because God never wastes pain. Every wound becomes a weapon in the hands of someone who refuses to give up. So right now, instead of asking God, start asking, God, what are you teaching me? Because once you learn the lesson, the delay ends. Once you embrace the pruning, the growth accelerates. Once you thank Him in the silence, the voice returns. The posture of your heart determines the pace of your breakthrough. Gratitude invites acceleration. You're not forgotten. You're being forged. You're not abandoned. You're being anointed. You're not delayed. You're being developed. And when the time is right, no force in hell can stop what God is about to do through you. So lift your head, fix your eyes on Him, and keep going. Because your spiritual breakthrough isn't just coming. It's already in motion. Now here's the challenge. If any of these 7 signs spoke to you, don't just nod and move on. Act on it. If God is disconnecting you, let go without bitterness. If He's silent, stay faithful. If He's delaying, stay patient. If you're restless, start seeking. If you're under attack, start praying. If you're being pruned, start surrendering. If you're feeling hunger, start feeding it with His Word. The fastest way to your breakthrough is obedience. And I want you to do something powerful. Go to the comments and write, I'm ready for my breakthrough. Not as a wish, but as a declaration. Because when you speak it, you're agreeing with heaven. God is about to turn your pain into purpose, your silence into song, and your waiting into witnessing. Don't quit now. The very thing you've been praying for is closer than you think. You're standing on holy ground, even if it doesn't look like it. Your warfare means something. Your tears mean something. Your waiting means something. God is secretly preparing you for a huge spiritual breakthrough, one that will make every struggle worth it. So keep walking by faith, because the next door you walk through might just be the one you've been praying for all along.